Call to order. Adoption of agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Any seconders? Any discussion?
Your worship? Yep, sorry, we had the note to add 8.4 into the agenda, the letter to school district 59.
So that's 8.4. Okay. Number 3, adoption of minutes.
The council adopted minutes of the regular council meeting held on May 2nd, 2018.
All second. Any discussion? All in favor? 3.2, recommendation.
Recommend the council adopt the minutes from the special council meeting held on May 4th, 2018.
Can I get a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items. Public hearing none. Delegations. And I would like to thank Dale and Sharon for coming. These are Saunders, Rose, Grindle, and Paul. Come on in, guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm Jaron, and as Larry already mentioned, I'm joined by Dale Rose, who's another partner in the firm. We were the auditors for the Village of Scooby this year, and have been for a number of years. If you turn to page 2 of your financial statements, you'll see our auditor's report, which is addressed to the mayor and council of the corporation of the Village of Scooby. In it, it states that we've audited the accompanying financial statements of the corporation of the Village of Scooby, which comprise of the statement of financial position as at December 31st, 2017, and the statement of operations, cash flows, and changes in net financial assets for the year then ended, and a summary significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. These financial statements are the responsibility of management, and as such, they are responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. As auditors, our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. Given the work that we've performed, it's our opinion that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the corporation of the Village of Scooby as at December 31st, 2017, and its results of operations, cash flows, and changes in net financial assets for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. So in other words, a clean auditor's report, no issues. So any questions from you guys?
I have no questions.
Colleen?
Was there some issues or anything that, like, so every time there's something that has to be fixed or changed or looked at, or was there anything like that on this, like some just little cleanup things, or?
Like as far as with the audit themselves?
Not with the audit, but you know, like there's always, you know, little.
Management letter.
Oh, management letter?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes. No, there's none to be identified there. The financial controls are operating as designed and accepted deemed effective. So.
Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Just to maybe add to that comment for Councillor Evans, there were 2 minor issues that were identified in the preliminary audit, which happened in November. Yeah, and they were just a sign-off sheet for adjusting entries, and then to have our passwords on our computers rotated every 3 months. We took care of those by the time the actual audit was done.
So they're all cleaned up by then, so nothing to report in the final management letter. So.
No questions. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you. Unfinished business arising from the minutes. 7.1, recommendation.
Recommend the council approve the letters to the following people: to Honorable Carol James, Premier Horgan, and Min Fainworth, and another one to Premier Horgan.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Pardon?
I'm fine with the letters. I read it.
No. All in favor? 7.2, recommendation.
The council decide if they would like to increase the budget for the volunteer dinner and decide what the next step is for the volunteer dinner.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mark?
My opinion on this is just to do the supper and the bags. I volunteered for Poo Scoopy. Now I'm trying to find it here, page 14.
Okay, 15, Josh, first one.
Councilor, okay, thanks. So, the dinner and the tote bags, take out the sticky notes, the water bottles, and flash drives, because we still don't know what the flowers for the table or to hire the help, and I'm thinking, you know, it'd probably be a donation to somebody like the Rangers or something that would come and help us, or some organization in Coos. I just don't want my volunteers having to do, it's their day, put up tables and that. So that's my 2 cents.
Any other discussion? Colleen?
So, what people are going to this that's different from the people that are going to the Christmas party?
Barb?
We've combined a list where we have included the community church, the seniors hall, the Legion.
This was a volunteer thing.
But they all volunteer in the community to make us better. It's not just the volunteers that are under the umbrella of the village. It's people that have done things along, we thought 3 or 4 people from the old hospital foundation, like Dolly and Gerda, you know what I mean? We don't have this annually, it's every 6 weeks. And like the Legion, the seniors, they all make this place better. It's not just the museum and the library and the fire department. There's more.
To the community.
That's my.
So are we inviting the Legion? Are we inviting
Not
the
complete.
Rangers? Are we inviting
We have a
the community
list.
groups?
We have about a total of about 100 people in that ballpark.
And we're giving swag on top of a meal, on top of a,
No, she just said she doesn't
we're
want.
giving
to.
tote bags.
Just tote bags. I volunteer in Poo Scoopy. A bag that they could go get their groceries with afterwards, instead of a t-shirt.
Pretty expensive.
When's the last time we had one of these?
I have no idea.
Never?
It's been a long time.
Marlene, do you know, in the gallery running, do you know when the last dinner was?
I
Did you
bet you-
volunteer?
I bet you it was 25 years ago. Yeah.
And do you think that we should do that for the volunteers?
I think it's a wonderful way.
So out of the 100 people, have we actually, do you think, I don't know, will people actually show up?
Well, we hope so.
Okay.
People to say yes, they do. They are
So we're putting out $6,000, $7,000 almost dollars. I think it's a huge amount of
It's
money.
huge, buying each $100 gift card would be into it for 15.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was just, okay.
No, $7,000.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's your guys' money.
So
Well,
she's-
because they're removing some of the items, right?
Yeah.
They said they were.
Yeah, but still, so
So
it's,
$4,000 for dinner.
No, I understand that, I understand that.
and that's not even, she's got flowers and tablecloths and hired help yet.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
So by the time you're done,
Can Sandy come back, Chris, with concrete?
so entertainment, you have to pay for the entertainment, you have to pay for the tablecloths, you have to pay for the flowers. Entertainment's gonna be $2,000 alone.
Should we cancel it?
I think it's something else.
Wouldn't we be better
$7,000.
off to just maybe offer them to come to our Christmas party, where we're already spending a ton of money for a Christmas party, then we're, you know, like add more people to the Christmas party as a volunteer thing. It's just a thought, because this is a lot of money, and, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but the thing of it is, it's, you know, I mean.
My
we're doing
thoughts-
RSVPs, because if you don't do RSVPs, we gotta know how many people are
Well,
coming.
I'm sure they will.
We do have a list. Sandy.
I know, but how many people on the list are actually gonna show up?
So how many people, can I ask, Councilor Smith, how many people on the list already come to our Christmas party?
Okay, Al Cameron, for one, who does our fireworks year after year, he was on the list.
Okay.
People like that.
Yeah, no, I understand. Couldn't we just invite them for our Christmas party, which, then we've got entertainment, we've got You know, we're already putting down a lot of stuff for the Christmas party that we usually put on. This is a thought, I mean, like,
Instead of doing two functions.
yeah, we're doing one function,
Doing one
and we invite all these people.
But it's not special for them as a volunteer. It's not
Why?
special for them to come to the
Well-
Christmas party. It
Why?
needs to
I
be-
wanted their day.
Yeah, it's their day as volunteers. We don't have to have that as an expensive dinner. We can get Papa Don's.
Yeah, we don't have to go with that
This is
amount.
just a,
What I'm gonna suggest then, because this is a little bit high, let's do like we did on our 85th anniversary. Bring a barbecue machine, you know, unit in here, do a barbecue for these guys, and invite them all, but do a barbecue and
And
then
who's going to,
staff, like, or counselors, like we'll do.
see, our staff was on the list.
Well, no, we can do it, we did
No, we
the
can't.
85th one,
Because, Chris,
Just get it to,
just a thought.
that concept of doing one outside sort of here had come up, Councilor Laval. We decided not to do it because we don't really see a way to host something out here that wouldn't be open to members of the public. So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
right, if we host a barbecue downtown, we can't really have people with, you know, sort of security personnel at the end and say, oh, mom, stroller, 2 kids, sorry, this is a closed event.
Even the community hall?
Well, that's where the intent of hosting this is right
No,
now.
but outside, like I'm talking like a barbecue at a community hall, the barbecue's outside, the back.
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
So-
Then that's not open to, you know,
so I make a motion that we get a different price for the dinner.
mhm.
And, 'cause if there's 100 people, how much does it cost for, to dinner? Like normally, $35 a plate, or what is it?
I believe that was the cost, your worship, was exactly 35 a plate for the catered dinner, and then the other little bit is taxes and stuff on that number.
Okay, can we find out from Papa Don's, because he has a catering business out of the George Dawson, and he is a businessman here in Pooskoopi. Can we see what that price is? I don't think the swag, we do have to have tablecloths put on the tables and flowers. So I would recommend Lindsay Bork to do that, to check out pricing with Lindsay Bork. She did the decorating for the Fort Nelson, NCLGA, which might not be. Which might be cheaper than somebody else. Barb,
I'd like to keep the tote bags, because I thought, you know, I volunteer in Pooskoopi is something that they could use afterwards when they go get their groceries or whatever, and that's good, thank you. It's a functional.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
anybody in the gallery have any comments on that?
On the tote bags?
Yeah.
Or just on the whole thing? I think that thing is, it's a good idea, but it is pretty expensive,
You're right.
you know? But I do like the idea of recognizing.
Just the volunteer day.
Yeah, I like that.
is there any
I
contact?
think it's a wonderful idea, and I do like I like the conversation that's going on right now, that you're deciding how to make it more affordable for the people of this village. I think those bags are important as morale. There's people, just like Marlene said, that have volunteered many years and had no recognition, and these people can wear it proudly, and perhaps it'll bring more people to volunteer for other things as well. I think it's very validating. Thank you.
So, the motion on the table,
Come back with more information.
come back for more information, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so that's there. Okay, 7.3,
Council approved policy 3.7, sale of village assets as presented.
can I get a seconder?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? New business, 8.1. Oh, wait, sorry. 8.2 recommendation.
The council received the community center policy report for discussion.
Oh, second?
Any discussion? Or,
When we originally, set up our new community center in 2005, we had in there that if a local person, i.e. they get their mail here in Coos, wanted to have a funeral or a celebration of life, that would be free for any of our residents, and I don't see it in the plan.
Colleen?
I don't agree with you. I don't see why the taxpayers should have to pay for somebody else's funeral and the rental of the home.
We are losing money as it is, so I don't recommend that. Chris, what was your recommendations again on the change of that?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Recommendations, I kind of left them open-ended, so I hadn't made them part of the motion, but they're on page 48 of the agenda. So the issues that we identified with the current one was that several of the rental amounts don't appear to cover the actual cost of the village running the facility. The language in the policy didn't contain anything for long-term rentals. The policy contained a clause that the village could withhold somebody's deposit if they canceled less than 3 months' notice, which doesn't make any sense to me. And then we added number 4 on the rental guidelines agreement, which was that expanded liability clause that we discussed for that one rental. I'd like to make that a permanent liability clause. So the recommendations are that we adjust all of the rental prices to at least break even on the community center rental to make sure the taxpayers aren't subsidizing events. That we set a long-term rental of $1,500 per year for any rental exceeding 1 month in regular use. That we remove the provision to seize people's deposits. I mean, I'm okay refunding those the day before the rental. There's no need for the village to withhold somebody's deposit. And then that we make that liability clause permanent. Just to talk a little bit more about number 2, the long-term rental. Right now, we don't have any language about it, so it's kind of weird. Somebody coming in looking for a long-term rental essentially gets the space for free because we don't, as staff, have a guideline dictated by council as to what we're to charge those folks. What we've discussed internally is that if it's a Poos Koopy group that wants to do it, so let's say somebody wanted to start a volunteer at the volleyball or a badminton club or something in town and use the facility every Wednesday, for example, then the policy would say we had to charge them $1,500 for the year. However, because it's a policy, if that person then said to me or Alistair, who's likely going to be taking the booking, well, I think it should be free. It's going to be for Poos residents. Great. Here's a delegation form. If you'd like to make that case before council, you can appear at the next council meeting. Let council know what your intentions are with the event, the group, and then council, fully at your discretion, you guys can choose to waive that provision of the cost or any other part of this policy. Policies can be waived by motion of council, so it seems to fit all of the requirements there.
So, does everybody agree with Chris's recommendation?
Definitely on the prices to be set to cover the costs.
It is going to increase some of the individual rental prices pretty significantly. So in the case of a single day rental, for example, it's going to go from $280 and we've got to charge a minimum of $433. That's what it costs us to run it. But
Well, the taxpayers can't subsidize it anymore.
Yeah, and essentially that's what's happening.
Because if they're subsidizing that, then the bar might as well have their funeral there.
Yeah.
Right? So, might as well do it all. No. So
Might as well have
I'll
parks
call to
funeral.
vote. I'll call to vote. Does everybody agree with the recommendations? We all agree?
Okay, I'll take another draft motion.
8.3 recommendation?
Recommend the council approve the attached PRRD fire protection agreement as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 8.4, register school district 59 and Ministry of Education. I would like to add to that. We need a letter. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Should we not speak about, should we speak about why we're bringing this up? Because the school has reached capacity and they've had to turn some students away for September 2018.
5 students apparently, right?
Yes.
25.
Marlene, would you like to speak to this?
I put my name down for the 6th. Do you want to hear me again more?
Yes,
You can.
I would like, because you work there, so I would like you to fill us in what's happening over there.
Oh, what's happening is that the teachers have got their contract that went through the Supreme Court, and their class sizes have changed significantly, which has put pressure on schools, ours being one of them. So you have only a certain amount of kindergartens that are allowed to attend whose school, so people have come in, and they've come in very early to register their children, but they can only have X amount. So there, I mean, there is a situation that I'm aware of that a woman that lives right across the street from the school, her child can only attend Poos. There's, it's a sad, sad situation that you have people in Poos could be young families, and their kids can't go to this school.
So, the letter we need to write to School District 59 and Minister of Education stating that the residents of Poos Kupi should be able to attend the school, and is it possible that for them to bring in one of them portables?
Yeah.
They intend on having one.
When?
They said that there's a list across the province for portables, and that we are on the list, and probably in the new year.
Yeah, well, it's the north and we need it quicker.
Could we get Chris to talk about our future development?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, so to further Marlene's comments, and her and I had a conversation this week too, and I've also had a conversation with Mike Reedman from School District 59. His comments were that, yeah, we had 25 net new applicants to the school. They were able to shuffle things around and accommodate 20, but there's 5 that are left at this point, you know, unable to attend Poos Kupi Elementary. He did mention the portable as well, and exactly what Marlene had said. His comments were that we're likely to get one in December, so that it's possible those kids would have to go to school in Dawson for a semester and then come back.
Like you're gonna move your kids.
Pretty awkward scenario,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, and so to answer Councillor Smith's request, you know, obviously there's an immediate need for this right now. This situation can't be allowed to continue, in my opinion. But looking down the road now too, you know, the West Poos Concept Development Plan is a plan that Council's been working on for a couple of years now. I've got the final draft in my inbox. I've been reading it over the last week here. It calls for about 40 new properties to be developed in town. Most of those are at Council's request to be single-family homes. It's going to be extremely difficult to market a new development, let alone a new constructed home. If, you know, to Marlene's comments, here's my great house up in this premier area of town. I can see the elementary school down there, and I'll wave to my kids as they take the bus into Dawson Creek in the morning. So, you know, obviously an immediate need, but also a larger need. And I think we should open up some discussion with the Ministry of Education as well as School District 59 to say, we're in expansion mode. You guys need to start considering expansion mode to accommodate what we're attempting to do with the building here.
Okay.
Could we also meet with the Minister of Education when we go down to UBCN to bring this forward?
Absolutely, if council wants to do that.
So you'll shine that up, buff that up, word it.
Just so I'm clear on the motion, then, Your Worship, it's a letter to School District 59 Ministry of Education for the immediate need, and then I'll book a meeting with Minister of Education at UBCM to talk about
The Minister of Education.
Minister of
So
Education.
a letter to him too.
Okay, Mr. Fleming?
Yes, yeah.
And include all that, what you're saying,
Yeah.
we have future development, how can we promote our community for young families to come in when they can't go to school?
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Okay,
just need your vote on that, Your Worship.
so calling a vote. We're all in favor. 9.1 recommendation. That's correspondence. Does anybody see anything in there, correspondence? One, two, three, four, five. 9.5, council received the invite for Dawson Creek Exhibit Stampede posting him as information.
Do it RSVP or?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it.
It doesn't say anything on it.
It doesn't, say- it says for information, so I don't think we have to reply back.
So can you find out from Tabitha if we have to reply back on this?
I believe last year it was the mayor that was invited to this one.
Yeah.
And one person from each community, not all council.
Well, just find out, Chris, from Tabitha,
That's just from
if
Mayor
it's
Boston.
all mayor and council or just mayor or West.
Okay.
Lindsay?
Lindsay Board.
Oh, Lindsay, sorry. Tabitha's bill secretary. Okay, anybody else see anything? Okay, so resolutions none, bylaws 11.1 recommendation.
Recommend the council give the first reading to bylaw number 1003, 2018, election and assent voting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Council give second reading to bylaw number 1003, 2018, election and assent voting.
Seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Are you gonna read the third one?
Oh, the council give third reading to bylaw number 1003, 2018, the election and asset voting.
Can I get a seconder?
No.
Any discussion? All in favor? 11.2 recommendation.
Recommend the council give first reading bylaw number 1004, 2018, voting day only registration.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Council give second reading to bylaw number 1004, 2018, voting day only registration.
Can I get a seconder?
All second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Recommend the council give the third reading to bylaw number 1004, 2018, voting day only registration.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Administration reports.
Thank you, Your Worship. Received word from the elementary school that they're looking to do a full village cleanup this year. They'd like to schedule it for maybe 28th, so we think that's okay. We've received a letter from the Puskubi Museum thanking us for helping them with the planters, and I'll just take a moment to read this if I may. Dear Village of Puskubi, on behalf of the Puskubi Museum, we would like to thank the Village of Pus for donating their time and workers to help us move 4 yards of dirt into our flower gardens out front, along with the Tremblay family for lending us their trailer and also helping to haul the dirt into the gardens. Great work, everyone. Thank you. Signed, Les Deus, Jamie Suchi, if I'm saying that correctly, and Lexi Schwartz.
Oh, thank you.
We, in response to the cleanup notices that we'd mail dropped around town here, we did get one response back about an unsightly property in town over on 42nd. A side note on this, we've noticed in researching some of the bylaws for this type of thing that we need a few more guidelines with respect to the property maintenance standards. We've reached out to a few other communities and we've been provided with copies of a few bylaws that they've titled Minimum Property Maintenance Standards Bylaws.
Can I stop you there, Chris?
Yeah.
Where's 42? 47?
42nd Ave, yeah.
Where's that?
That might be a typo.
It's probably 47.
It's right up here.
I'm not sure, Your Worship.
Just checking. I don't think we have 42nd.
I'm 90% sure it was 42nd on the sheet. I can double check. It was handwritten, so it may have been 47th actually. So yeah, getting back to the bylaws. So their bylaws address many issues from falling down porches and fences to missing siding, broken windows on homes, badly peeling paint, yard waste not covered by vehicles or construction debris like the 2 bylaws we have now, dead trees, overly lengthy construction where people leave houses without siding for an extended period of time, that type of thing. So I've asked Sandy to begin drafting one to present to council using a few of the key elements from those bylaws. So that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. I met with Austin from the Mirror here to discuss some of the particulars of the budget and tax rates. So thanks to Austin for taking the time to come and talk to us about that stuff. We had another call from a resident looking to set up a cannabis retail outlet in town. The resident has a location in mind. And I've told them the same thing as the other inquiries, that it's not legal yet and that we're not able to support or provide any letters of support until it's been fully legalized by the feds in the province. I also caution them not to break ground on any buildings or construction until council has had a chance to finalize the policy for approving that stuff. I did get a note from Tumbler Ridge that they're looking to create a cannabis smoking bylaw in their community, which will dictate where and how people can smoke. Talking to the CAO over there, they're going to ban it in all public parks, all roadways, basically confining it to people's homes and their backyards.
Yeah, not apartments.
Yeah, it sounds like the province right now isn't actually going to outlaw it on the street, so somebody to be able to go for a walk with their dog and smoke. Tumbler Ridge is actually looking to prevent that, so I might look at taking some of the language in that bylaw and presenting it to you.
Well, we can't walk down the road with a beer.
And that's what I found strange about that, your worship. Yeah.
So why would they?
What?
You guys will notice the roofing is well underway. So the old library is done, post office is done, town hall's done. They're working on the museum, but that's actually done today as well. So they've had awesome weather and they've been able to get those done in a really good time frame. So thanks to those guys. Poos Park raking and roller packing is complete. All the summer students were down there last week breaking up every little twig and stuff so that we can mow it nicely. The roller packer went out. Unfortunately, towards the end of it, was already starting to get pretty dry, so the roller packer was not having the desired effect. There's no rain forecast again for like another week here. So we're going to send the fire department with one of the trucks down there. We're going to start watering that property to try and get the grass going a little bit faster. We had Municipal Insurance Association evaluate Town Hall and then the Public Workshop for liability type hazards. Both buildings came back very good, other than a few nails and some rotten wood on the Town Hall building here. They did mention they recommend us changing the Public Works gate to a more secure style gate as well. And then they also mentioned that we've got barbed wire on the top of the Public Works yard fence. And we need some fencing, just advising anybody who tries to hop fence and steal our stuff.
Just
that
put
there's
a
a barbed wire
fire.
hazard.
Electrify it.
Apparently that's a thing we need to do now. So we're already, we've already ordered those signs. One thing we're happy about this year, council will note, we improved our street sweeping process. So last year at this time, we had a flurry of complaints already about the street sweeping. So one of those cases where we were trying to do a good thing, but people were complaining. I had a number of residents calling me demanding that I pay for a car wash because the car was all dusty and so on and so forth. What we did this year was we took the old flat deck truck and we put a water tank on it. And we sent it out ahead of the street sweeper, watered everything down, street swept it this year. To my knowledge, we haven't had a single complaint. So,
what about our speed bumps? When do they go down?
speed bumps should be going in the next couple of weeks. We're talking about doing a second street sweeper pass on some of the streets. So once that's done, all the speed bumps will be going in. Yeah.
Huh? Oh, really? Mine's just normal dusty because the wind likes to blow down the street.
Well, nobody called to complain officially, so we tried. I attended a Peace Region election workshop in Dawson Creek last week. It was most of the other area municipalities were there. The hope is to get some of the election communication out as kind of a united front, you know, so we chose a logo and a bunch of things for that. So kind of a nice regional initiative there. We held a Canada Day meeting today in our staff meeting. Like I mentioned, you guys were planning for an even bigger, better event this year. All staff were present. We identified an entire page of stuff that we've got to get done before the next meeting. We've hired a new admin assistant, Skylar, so I'd like to welcome her to our town hall operation here. We've also hired the public works operator, so we're now fully staffed for the year. The barricades are up on 50th. We held a skate park open house on Thursday of last week, and thanks to Councillor Evans and Councillor Johnson for attending that. We're pretty sure we've got a modified design based on the initial concept. Canadian Ramp Company has committed to having a plan back to us by the 28th, and I'm hoping to put that in front of council on June 6th.
Okay.
Last but not least, held a conference call with PRRD and Lindsay Heel from Recycle It Resources. This is one that might have a little bit of a pushback from the community, but long story short, Recycle It Resources is moving to disallow any plastic bags in their recycling submissions. They claim there's a bunch of reasons for it. So number one, there's no market for it, so they're taking in this plastic and they're just accumulating it. They can't sell it. The bags, they claim, clogs up their conveyors and some of their mechanized recycling systems. They say it encourages garbage in the loads, so people are hiding stuff in bags and can't really see what's inside it when they're tearing it open.
It's actual garbage.
It's actual garbage by the time it gets there. Second to that is there's a number of people who are taking actual recyclables, putting them in a plastic bag, and then putting them in the bin. Well, those guys have to tear that open manually when it gets there, so there's some staff costs involved in doing that, and it makes sorting difficult. Lindsay also mentioned, though, that as of right now, we're one of the only multi-stream recycling systems that currently allows plastic bags. So she says, really, as a side note, we'll be bringing it in line with most of what else BC is doing. And then the other one is
Well, they're trying to ban plastic bags, right?
Yeah, and I've heard that too. There's this sort of ironic movement back to the paper we were using 5 years ago, but so she says really it's kind of just bringing the system in line with what most of BC. So she says the stuff is still recyclable. It's not that people can't recycle it, but just in our curbside multi-stream, mechanical operation.
So can we put a letter out onto the website and Facebook
We have to
page?
do some major advertising or major, to get people to understand and put the reasons why, because just saying no bags,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be enough.
I've actually
And
asked.
we have to, I think to have it work, people are gonna really, like you said, push back because it's really, that's the only, that's why I recycle, it's those stupid things.
And and that's a good point. We saw that in the, in the last recycle cleanup we tried to do, where people were putting things in the bin that they felt were recyclable. In fact, they were. They're just not recyclable in a mechanized curbside operation. So those folks are free to take it to the recycling depot themselves if they want, no problem. It's not, doesn't work in the bin. It's the same scenario that's going to happen with this. What I've actually asked Lindsay to do, because this is their initiative, and to try and keep the village out of, a lot of the legwork in this to a certain extent, was I've asked them to do up the full public notice thing, so they're gonna have the reasons, the notifications, they're gonna send it all to us, I'm gonna proofread it, edit it, and then we'll use their information to send out to the public, and it won't be, guys, the village is telling everybody you can't put bags anymore. Our depot that we send it to has said, this is a change they're making, if we wanna keep recycling, we're gonna have to play by those rules, and that's the way it is. So hopefully a lot of the legwork on the part of the village will be diminished because they're going to do the whole announcement. So that's it for me.
Okay. So then we have action items. When is our next for the boundary extension, Chris?
Thank you, Richard. Next boundary extension meeting hasn't been set. I've got, like I mentioned a moment ago there, the last draft of the West Pouce Comprehensive Development Plan. So that was the last one to finalize before we shift gears into boundary extension. That document should be in front of you guys June 6th for preliminary approval.
Okay, so we only have 2 ongoing things that we need to have done?
At the moment. This is the look of this, your worship, is gonna change a little bit because council requested that new capital and special project sheet. A lot of capital and special project stuff we were tracking on this action item sheet last year, so this may not be as long as it's in the past.
And Library 404, have they started it?
No, your worship, I went to the flooring place, not last week, the week before, to get 3 flooring samples. Got them, brought them back, had every intention of going in the next day and kind of taking a look to see what was happening. The lady from the library floor gave me a call, but I'd barely gotten back to town hall and said, "Oh, sorry Chris, I double checked, 2 of those samples you took aren't available anymore, they discontinued them." So she said she was going to call me when the company sent her some new samples, so I'm waiting for those.
Okay, so the new entrance to cruise sign, NDIT has signage. Can we, money for signages, can we get our grant writers to check into it? Cruise Park remediation. We should discuss picnic tables and things like that at one of the council meetings here before it starts to get summer, right? Because if the grass is taking off, people are gonna wanna get in there.
That's definitely the case, Your Worship, although it's in our control as to when and how soon we open it. We are getting picnic tables back as part of the disaster relief fund funding. We've got 25 picnic tables coming.
Okay. And you're working on the asset management. Do we have a date to when we're gonna, like approximate?
Approximate?
July?
Unofficially, I'm hoping to,
July
that
2nd.
the park will at least be at a stage where council can announce an opening date at Canada Day on July 1st. Whether or not that July 1st will be the opening or not, see, we're being down there with the roller packer. The first couple of days, there was still a good amount of moisture in the soil. The heart was nice. The last couple of days that had dried up, it might as well have been dune sand down there. So if we start letting people down there to play, it'll disturb the grass that's trying to take, and so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. We want to open it this year to let the community in there, get them back to their park, but we want to make sure that it's ready. So it's also going to depend on the precipitation. If this was a nice wet spring, we'd probably be 50% ahead of where we are right now. We're unfortunately at the mercy of the weather for grass.
Yeah, we flooded, June 15th of 2016? Yeah. So the sidewalks, when do you think that the sidewalks would be started?
I haven't started that project yet.
Your Worship, can I ask a question? In regards to the park, are we looking at playground equipment? Are we looking at, I know what to put right away, but if you have them, order them, or you guys mentioned that we're going to be doing something like that.
Yeah.
The grandstand, we're going to fix it now, apparently.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Butler. The grandstand will
The
be.
band?
The bandstand, yeah, I meant that.
Yeah, we will be doing some minor construction work to that. We took a look at it at the beginning of the roller packer project there too. Needs a little bit of new plywood, maybe some new paint. It's pretty much in good shape overall. Not a big project there. As far as the playground equipment, same issue. As it stands right now, we couldn't even get a delivery truck in there to deliver the playground equipment. They'll bury it in the sand, and we got.
How long does it take to order the equipment?
Not terribly long, but I certainly don't want to rush into that equipment, Your Worship. The foundation did donate some money towards that from last year.
But if our date is coming, right, and if the grass is up before, we should have that
I'm
stuff.
not saying install it, I'm saying just get it.
Get it and have it stored.
Have it stored.
Public Works.
No, with that kind of equipment, the companies bring it straight from site,
Oh,
straight from there,
they install
right
it.
on the
Yes.
site, assemble it, and away
okay.
it goes. In all likelihood, we're looking at next year before we put any new playground equipment there at all. Just because of the soil condition down there. And then number two, I know there's a lot of initiative to get it back and open, but we still don't know exactly how the landscape of the park's going to look. One of the issues that I noticed down there is 50% of the trees that are still down there standing haven't started budding yet. So we may be in a scenario where we're chopping down, they're dead. Nobody's fault, that's just the way it is. We tried to do the best. So one thing with the playground equipment, if we're going to commit $125,000 to new playground equipment down there, that stuff's expensive. We don't want to just put it in a location just to throw it up. We're really going to want to, take a real photo of that park and decide where we want everything. We've had talk about a trail circumnavigating the park, so we want to know where the picnic tables are, where the eating areas are. If there's an area that council's comfortable with people bringing dogs down to, for example, we probably don't want, you know, a dog area in close proximity to the playground. That should be over in the other corner. So there's some stuff we need to think about before we you know, put money in infrastructure.
That walkway around the Hoos Park, Northern Health actually has a grant for healthy communities. So maybe our grant writer should maybe check that out too.
Same thing with a lot of that other stuff. My primary focus with the park right now is to get it back to a point where we can at least open the gate and have people go down there. The rest of that stuff we can build and add on. We'd be, in my opinion, jumping the gun a little bit. We'd try to take it from where it is now and have playground equipment, trails, all of this stuff. We're not quite at that stage yet with it.
What about fire pits?
At this point, there was no plan to do fire pits because it was just a day use park. Definitely something you can add though.
And we got a ban on these right now.
Huh?
A ban on fires.
We're on forever.
We've had each side burned except for that side, so.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of the band worship, there was, I somehow skipped over that in the CAO report, just for council's information about the fire that took place on the south of town there over the weekend. We had 12 firefighters attend the first day, 10 the second day, and a total of 30 people on site with multiple agencies, just so you guys know.
Okay, does anybody else see anything on the capital and special projects? Okay, we did the action items. So let's go to council calendars.
So we need to add something for myself. June 2nd, I'm attending the Hudson Hole Solar Initiative Celebration in Hudson, and that's Saturday, June 2nd.
That's a regional district?
No, that's for you. You guys approved that here. For me, I'm representing the village. At the previous council meeting.
Okay. Anybody else? Great, no museum?
No, I got her down here on the 31st is my next meeting.
Okay. And Colleen Mini Library? Okay. And I have just Halifax so far. Okay. Here's my main sheet here. Do it. Where did it go? Councilor Evans.
Just attended that skateboard or skate park meeting. Had some kids that came in and gave some good feedback, and it was actually super interesting. The guy that came up, he was from Toronto.
Yeah.
A very, very interesting guy, and gave a really nice presentation to us and the kids, and he really interacted with the kids too. So it was really good. I think that like the stuff that he told us about the different ways that this stuff is built and how they build it, and compared to the cement and the stuff that they bring in, I think it's a good deal. It's definitely something that will enhance our Kuskokwim. Kids are super excited, super excited. They're super excited to see it done and have, you know, so I just think that if we can get this done, it'd be great. Bart?
Were they told at school, Colleen?
Yeah,
They were, and then the kids just forgot.
Well, and so I went into the library and I brought up a bunch of kids. And I was like, there's a meeting, man. So, and they all did, and they sat and they filled out the forms and they listened to the guy. And yeah, no, they were really super excited. The one guy was just ecstatic. Yeah, no, it was, and so there wasn't a whole bunch of people, but there probably was about 8, 9 kids that came through there, ate donuts and whatever, but they all filled out sheets and they actually listened to the guy, and so it was, and the presentation, like the screen, the layout that you guys had, I don't know, Ray and I.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, there's a couple things that we tweaked and we talked about tweaking and changing and stuff like that, so.
So you three can't monopolize on it, okay? Three of you, fine. Chris, Rick.
My car will get.
Don't hold it on there.
Well, the comment I heard was that I'm not allowed to ride it every day, so.
On your lunch time.
So, but I don't know, I think this is something that, I don't, what is his name? I
I
can't
think we
remember.
should for
Graham. He was talking about the size of our village, and he was talking about, you know, different communities and different places that he has been to that are doing projects like this. And he says, you know, it's different for a community our size to be doing this kind of a project, but he can see why, you know, because there isn't that much.
There's nothing to
Yeah,
that.
People
so-
come from Grand Prairie and everywhere to play on it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, and he did point it out, there was people, you know, once it's here, it will bring people here to do stuff.
Come for the day, go for an ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm setting up ice cream stand beside it.
Got pizza.
Is it gonna be soft ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll be there all the time.
That's it. Councillor Johnston.
I attended the community open house with Colleen and Chris, and then I had a informal meeting with the museum on the 10th that night, and then the garage sale on Saturday, which turned out really well. I figured they did about 3,000 less expenses, so maybe around 27.
We had lots of volunteers too.
Oh, there was tons of people there.
It wasn't
It was
just
nice.
employees, yeah. We had lots of volunteers at that.
And that's all I have.
Councillor Smith.
The NCLGA in Fort Nelson was awesome. The people were so friendly, so nice. I was quite impressed about the community. I hadn't drove up there, so, you know, it's interesting how the tree lines change and the power lines. There's no power lines for a while, and then you get power lines. But I would like to make a motion that we send a thank you letter to Rocky Mountain and to the NCLGA for the hosting and the kind of hospitality that they gave everyone.
I'll second.
All in favor?
And I attended the Chamber of Commerce AGM. Keith Baldry spoke at the luncheon, and it was a very, very good luncheon. That's all I have.
Councillor LeBeau.
So May 3rd, I attended the Peace River Regional District meeting that was at Salto First Nations in Woodland Lake. I also attended the NCLGA conference in Fort Nelson from May 6th to 10th. And one of the things I took in was the local government communication, the Small Talk PR playbook by Joelle McKay, NDIT. Do you have that? Because if you don't have it, it's free
I do.
online.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm going to be getting a copy of that, and I suggest to anybody else. It's online and it's free.
Yeah, that was.
This is what he put on, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that, and I'll get one from the PRD.
Joel wrote that just before he became CEO.
I
if I'm
believe
not
so,
mistaken.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome book. It's an awesome book. It answers a lot of questions councillors, mayors, or whatever. So May 7th, in Fort Nelson, I attended the Norton Health Community Forum, and also we had two meetings with Norton Health on May 8th. The mayor and Councillor Smith was with us. Peace River Regional District and Bruce Scooby for mayor. The mayor was with me for the PRD meeting. And so there's a lot of information, and I'll just mention one that they are going to be putting towards home support $8,500. $85,000. Last time I said $1 million, I heard, I was saying, okay.
85,000 for
We'll get it right, $850,000, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Towards home support for this, for the north and southeast. Okay? I guess there's a real need for that, and they've recognized it, and so they're going forward with that.
I just wanted to add, when we went and had our meeting, we expressed our concerns of seniors falling through the cracks. So when the seniors are going to be sent home from the hospital. They're not gonna keep them overnight. They have a new 16-hour support that they will have for the senior. They won't be sent home alone. That
Not
whether
just
that,
seniors, not just seniors.
yeah. So if they need somebody to go home with them and spend the night to make sure that they're fine, it's a 16-hour plan, which I was quite impressed that because seniors are falling through the cracks.
We'll recognize that also.
You can
That's fine.
continue on.
Yep, thank you, Councilor Smith. So May 12th, I did attend the museum and the breakfast here. I could see it was well attended. Today I attended the Site C RCLC meeting for BC Hydro for Site C in Fort St. John. And I will be attending the trails, Northern Trails, on the Peace River Regional District are having a meeting at 1 o'clock on Friday for the Trails Visibility Study that as it kicks off. So I believe the mayor and myself will be attending that. There's a teleconference that I'll be attending in regards to caribou recovery, which is an initiative for Tumbler Ridge. My understanding is.
Not just Tom, but Chapman too.
Yeah, there's
Because
that.
Chapman has.
Did you see the message that came over from the federal? They made the decision out of the 23 that today. Is Chapman on it? I didn't think it was.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about down in Victoria.
Oh, okay, good to know. So anyway, I'm gonna listen to that conversation with them. Fort St. John on May 26th, the Peace River Regional District will be attending. On May 25th, I'm attending the Northern Trails Heritage AGM in Dawson Creek here. I'll be introducing Jamie Shuchi, who is now the new assistant curator for the museum. And again, like I mentioned, June 2nd, I'll be in Hudson Hope for the Solar Initiative celebration. That's all I put.
Okay, Mayor Kelly's report was May 6th, traveled to Fort Nelson. Well, Barb says we flew, but I drove. May 7th, went to the roundtable with the Northern Health. May 7th, went to roundtable for emergency services and floods. And we had fires and floods in 2 years prior to Williams Lake, and they still haven't got it figured out. So that was a discussion on that. May 8th, 2018, I went to Northern Health meeting with two Councillor Barb, Andre, and myself. We discussed busing, seniors, and home support. This was a scheduled meeting. May 9th, 2018, various roundtable discussions with MIA update, legalizing marijuana. May 10th, infrastructure funding and emergency management. May 10th, voted on resolutions. Several good resolutions were put forward this year. May 10th, attended Northern Medical Trust UNBC. We now have physiotherapy program at the university. We'll be having, it's probably in September, and a new director was voted in. May 10th, traveled home. May 11th, 2018, I attended the luncheon with Barb, with Chamber of Commerce, and Keith Baldry talked. And he works for Vancouver Sun. May 12th, 2018, helped set up a garage sale from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. at the museum. It was a successful day. May 13th, 2018, traveled to Victoria. May 14th, 2018, had a meeting with Michelle Mungle about how important the oil and gas industry is in our region. Talked about the caribou herd that could have an important role in the oil and gas, mining, and tourism by blanketing the area. This will affect our economy. May 14th, 2018, met with Minister Claire Trevina of MOT, Minister of Transportation. She is very concerned with our highways from Jazz Corner through to Pooskoopi to the Alberta border. The contracts for the highway in the region we also discussed. May 15th, 2018, met with Minister Doug Donaldson, Ministry of Forest Lands, Natural Resources, Operation and Rural Development. We talked about caribou and how vital it is that they work with the municipalities, Tumbler Ridge and Chapman, and they will be affected from the mines and the tourism. And we all will be affected, all our economy will be affected. We also talked about cleaning up creek beds from debris if they have been dried for at least 1 week. This will help with mitigation of flooding. May 15th traveled home. And that is all I have to do for report. And Mr.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.